Out of all the genres, probably my most favourite is the crime genre. Now, it's probably why GTA 4 is my most favourite game, but I just love all the swearing, all the violence, all the dark themes. It's fantastic. Anyway, last year, a game popped up that grabbed my attention, but I couldn't quite play it because I didn't have the show, I suppose. But anyway, let's take a look back in the 2010 release of Mafia 2. Released in August of 2010, Mafia 2 is a third-person action-adventure sequel to Mafia, the City of Lost Heaven. Developed by 2K Czech, this is yet another title to tackle the crime sandbox genre, and it's also taken the Guinness Book of Records for having the most swear words in a video game. It's also fueled some hate from Italian Americans, but is it any good? I couldn't wait to jump into this tale of organised crime, so here it is.
Hey, Vito.
First of all, this is the story of Vito Scarletta as he makes his way up the ranks of the Cosa Nostra in the booming city of Empire Bay. Set in the 1940s and 50s, this game makes awesome use of the era as it uses everything down to the finest detail and it looks and feels authentic. The story is very intriguing and it does a good job of putting you in the shoes of Vito as he experiences all the highs and lows of being a wise guy. The city is huge, characters are likeable, and there are many cool interesting touches in the background that makes Mafia have quite the atmosphere. However, if you choose to deviate from the story, you won't have a lot to do. And whilst it is a huge city, there's really not much room for mini-games or cheap thrills. This is an extremely close look at Vito's life, and it kind of abandons the sandbox elements a bit, but hardcore fans will love it. However, casual gamers and others may feel it a little boring just driving through the city most of the time.
Since when are you the smart one?
Okay, fellas. I'm counting on you.
When you asked me 10 seconds ago.
I have to say I was pretty impressed with Mafia 2's visuals. From the leather on Vito's jacket to the dust on his car, this game excels at detail. Empire Bay is a beauty to drive through in both its winter and summer appearance, and the era of the 1940s and 50s is captured brilliantly, with most praise going to the music that surrounds this game. You'll be tapping your foot and singing along to these old greats, no matter if they're not even historically correct. Car damage looks superb and the gunfights are amazing to observe as you watch all the debris and damage just seemingly hit everything. There's a large amount of cutscenes to take in, but thankfully with the story and great direction, they're fun to watch. Although there's no frame rate drops or pop-ins, you'll see many of the same character models and the camera can be a little annoying in tight spaces, but it's nothing really to disrupt your experience. I also really liked how Vito has a very human quality to him as he reacts to police driving by or gunfire. Aside from the great music, the voice acting is another delight. It's never over the top and the accents are spot on. Sound effects from guns like the MG42 and Tommy guns are pretty authentic as well, and the cars all have their own feel. Mafia 2 is clearly a great looking and very detailed game.
There's a big meeting starting soon.
In Vito's Rise to the Top, you'll basically wake up to 12 chapters of driving, shooting and stealing. First, let's look at the combat. Now, you've got your basic cover shooting system here, pop around the corner, take the headshot, but there's no blind fire. Health is slowly regenerative and the AI isn't too great, and you also have many one-on-one fight scenarios. It's all good without being great. Vito is easy to control with the options varying depending on what he's standing next to. You can tell the developers have a sincere love for the source material here as you'll experience each gritty aspect of the crime genre through the missions that you perform, like the drags of being a common person and also the highlights of being a mobster. I thought it was a really nice touch. Cars are a big part of your game as you lockpick a car or simply smash into a window to drive away, park it in your garage, fill it up with fuel or customize it to your fancy. In this respect, Mafia 2 has a great sense of realism in its gameplay. The AI is a little shoddy as the police can be a little inconsistent. For example, if you pull out your gun, the cops will swarm, but if you ram into a cop car, they will simply say, "Don't worry about it!" They're also really hard to lose at times. You'll have Playboy magazines to collect, and other than that, there's really not much to do than the main story, so the replayability is going to be a little lacking. Whilst it's not as polished as titles like GTA 4, Mafia 2 does tell a compelling story with great detail like no other. With Mafia 2, I feel the developers didn't try and compete with other titles like GTA 4 or other sandbox games, but more went for just telling a good crime story and allowing players to experience the feeling of being in the Mafia. And I think they did that wonderfully. maybe at the expense of casual gamers or other people that may want more from this game and a bit more replayability. But to tell you the truth, I had a lot of fun with this. And maybe it's just because I enjoy The Sopranos, The Goodfellas, The Godfather and all that, and I just love delving into this genre, but I felt that it had a lot of detail and it really explored it well. So I'm going to give it an 8.75 out of 10.01. Madonna, Mara, what are you doing? You crazy? Get out.
The working man's a sucker, that's for damn sure.
You said it.
Oh, yeah!